Welcome back to Hear What I'm Saying, the podcast where beauty meets life's biggest stories. I'm your host, Kenitra, and today we're diving into a story of resilience, reinvention, and redefining success. My guest is Aiko, a talented nail artist specializing in Russian manicures and pedicures who immigrated to the U.S. from Kazakhstan through the Diversity Visa Lottery program. From navigating culture shock in New York to finding her creative passion during the uncertainty of the COVID pandemic, Aiko's journey is nothing short of inspiring. She's now the proud owner of Moonglownails in Austin, Texas, turning her skills into a thriving business. We'll discuss her path from employee to entrepreneur, common misconceptions about nail techs, and how she overcame personal and professional challenges to build the life she envisioned. This is an episode full of wisdom, inspiration, and plenty of gems for aspiring entrepreneurs in the beauty industry. Welcome to the Hear What I'm Saying podcast. I'm your host, Kenitra Stewart. Today we have Aiko of Moonglownails, located in Austin, Texas, who specializes in Russian manicures and pedicures. Welcome to the show, Aiko. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming to share with us today. I really appreciate it.
Me too. This is so exciting.
It is. And is this your first podcast?
Yes, this is my first podcast ever.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad to do the honors.
Yes,
for sure.
Thank you.
Especially, with your specialty. It's fairly new. I don't know if it's new for your line of work, but it's new for a lot of us out here in Austin, Texas. And I absolutely love getting my nails and toes done with the Russian way. And I'm just glad you're here to share more information about how you started your journey into that line of work and, just giving us more insights and information on what it exactly is.
Yeah. I'm excited too.
Great. Growing up in Kazakhstan, what were your dreams as a child?
I was thinking about this question.
Yeah.
I think growing up, I always dreamt big. Kazakhstan, it's not like population-wise, it's not a big country, but territory-wise, it's quite big. And I felt like growing up, I always knew that there are like great things ahead of me. And when I was a child, I remember I would tell my grandma that one day I will move to America and I will bring her with me and we'll be cruising around in the convertible. For some reason, I would say that when I was like a little child.
Oh, wow.
And then, fast forward and I'm here now. So it's crazy. I felt like, growing up in a post-Soviet Union brand new country, there was a lot of like hardships and uncertainties. And more than anything, I feel like I've dreamt of stability.
Okay.
And, knowing where I come from, I knew that in order for myself to get to a stable place, I need to put a lot of work and a lot of hard work into it. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Did you dream of being a nail tech? Was that anywhere?
No. I did not dream of being a nail technician particularly, but I always was into aesthetics of beauty. I grew up watching, MTV, America's Next Top Model, Tyra Banks, Smiling with Your Eyes and all of that. Yeah. And I feel like I was always into it. And as soon as I started like making my own money, I was very into getting my nails done. That was like one thing that was always non-negotiable for me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. How did your parents and family respond to your decision to move to the U.S. and later to pursue nails?
Yeah. They had the really mixed feelings, of course, because it's so far away. For those who don't know, Kazakhstan is like a good day of flying away from the States. So I feel like they were very like anxious and worried about me. But at the same time, they supported my decision to move because they knew that it's going to be better for me. It's going to be better and more opportunities here. So even though they had like mixed feelings, I felt their support.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. Because it's so important, when your family supports you, especially that's a big, huge career. Like I know,
huge life change.
It's a whole life change.
Yeah.
Forget the career, just a whole life change. A different country, just different everything.
Yeah.
And I looked Kazakhstan up on the map, and I was like, "Whoa, this is like on the opposite side of the world."
Yes.
And I think for you to just come here, like become an entrepreneur too. I'm like, that is really admirable. It takes a lot of courage to do something like that in such a foreign country, Yeah.
Yeah.
In Kazakhstan, how are careers in beauty like doing nails typically viewed?
Yeah, well, as I don't think it's a secret that like Asian parents are very demanding and they want their kids to be like, I don't know, doctors, lawyers, some kind of corporate job. And being a nail technician is not considered to be a very prestigious job because it's like a manual labor. It's not very well paid, at least in Kazakhstan. So whenever I told my decision that I'm gonna try to be a nail technician, of course, at first my mom was like a little hesitant. But then, and I think here in States too, actually, people don't consider it as a very like prestigious job either.
That's right. Yeah, that's very, anything in the beauty industry is not. It's like a hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I really do want to change that perspective, though. I feel like it can be very lucrative if a very lucrative business and job in general.
Yeah.
If you structure it correctly, if you know what you're doing, I think it's a great career to have because people everywhere get their nails done.
For sure.
No matter where you are, it's the service that will always it's something that will always feed you.
Absolutely, it will. And I know for sure when my nails are not done, I feel a little self-conscious, like of even simply grabbing things, you know?
Like they feel too thin or something,
Or like they're not done, they're not groomed and they're not presentable, even if I didn't have polish, at least if they were groomed and manicured, I would feel better.
For sure.
But just neglecting my nails completely, I'm like, it's still a part of some line of self-care.
Self-care, personal style. A lot of people express themselves through nails. It's like part of your, identity of your style too.
Absolutely, for sure. What was the hardest part about leaving Kazakhstan and moving to the U.S.?
Oh, definitely leaving my family. Yeah, that was like the hardest part. It still is very hard till this day, but I try to go there every couple of years. My family comes visit me. Like we take turns in seeing each other. So that was definitely the hardest part, I think, leaving my family because I'm very close to them.
Yes.
It's my mom and my little sister.
Okay.
But we try to talk every day on video, on FaceTime. We're very much like present in each other's lives.
Good.
So yeah.
That was
hard
part.
though. Very hard.
For sure, yeah. After experiencing the culture shock in New York and deciding to return home during COVID, what gave you the courage to try again?
Okay, that's a good one. As a foreigner, when you think about states, the first thing that comes to your mind are like the big cities, New York, Miami.
Oh, I didn't know
LA.
that.
Yeah, when you think about New York, like you think of those big cities.
Got you. Okay.
I never even knew about Austin.
Yeah.
And then I think when I was in New York, I was realizing, and when I went back, I was like realizing that New York is not the only representation of America.
Right.
That there are so many other places out there. And I knew that New York's dynamic was too much for me. It's too hectic. It's too big. It's a lot. It's a fun place to visit, but not to live. Like you need to have a really, really tough skin to be able to make it in New York. So then I was like started, doing my research and seeing, okay, where I could move where it's like a little slow paced compared to New York, but somewhere where I could still build a business and like make it. So then a lot of online research led me to Austin, Texas. So I decided to give it a try here.
Okay. Yeah. What was that
I've
thing?
never been here before.
Yeah, that's what was that thing where it's like Austin is it? Like it couldn't have been Dallas, Houston.
Yeah.
What made Austin be the all-in for you? Like, I know this is gonna be my next, place where I'm gonna really build my life.
Honestly, I wasn't thinking too hard about it.
Okay.
I felt like Houston, Dallas are already big. And I wanted something smaller.
Yeah.
I wanted a city that is, big enough for it not to be too, how to say, country.
Yeah.
But then still somewhere that is developing, where there is a lot of potential. So I saw that potential and I was like, I think this is a good place because I saw that a lot of people from California are moving here, especially during or after pandemic.
Yeah.
I saw that a lot of IT companies are moving here. So I was like, I see the potential here.
Yes, for sure. It is a lot of potential here. It's still growing. People are still moving
Till
here.
this day. Yeah. And when I talk to, locals, they say, oh yeah, Austin's been growing for like past, I don't know, 20, 30 years. So it's still maybe is even in early stages of growing.
Yes,
so
it
who
is.
knows?
For sure, it is. But the growth is happening pretty rapidly.
Yeah.
It is.
Absolutely. I mean, look at all the highways and the constructions.
And I don't think a lot of us are prepared for it. We go out, especially the ones who have been here who did not move here. And they are thinking they can carry on with their regular schedule. Like, oh, at 5 o'clock, I can go do this and I can go do that. But it's like, it's a lot of people here now. So you're probably going to run into traffic now.
Yeah.
So it's a lot even for them, like to adjust.
For sure.
Because the growth rate is happening so fast,
Yeah.
So I was like, it's a great thing for sure. What inspired you to try nail artistry?
Well, as I said, I was always into aesthetics, into beauty. And I remember when I moved to New York, I realized that there is a huge gap in the industry, in the beauty industry, specifically when it comes to nails.
Absolutely.
I remember I was having like an hour and a half ride one way to just get my nails done in absolutely different part of New York. For those who know New York, like I was living in Queens.
Oh, yeah.
And my nail technician was all the way in Brooklyn, in Brighton Beach area. So it was like good hour and a half one way. And I would do that drive just to get my nails done because I was used to a certain quality.
Absolutely.
Because in Kazakhstan, we don't call them Russian manicures, by the way, in Kazakhstan.
What are they called?
It's like a thing that they call it here in States. Very interesting.
It's just getting your nails done in Kazakhstan?
We call it e-file manicure or dry manicure.
Oh, and it is dry. Yeah.
And it's made with the help of e-file machine. But so what was I saying? Let's go back.
We were talking about the nail artistry. You were saying you would drive in like an hour and a half.
And when I was doing all those drives, I was like, what's going on? Why am I doing this? Why can't I find a place which does a decent manicure, close to me? But it was really hard to find. And I was like, if this is hard to find in New York, I'm sure in other parts of the States, it's going to be even more in demand.
Absolutely.
So that's where I saw the opportunity and the gap in the market. I was like, we're living in 2024 right now. I think people want better quality services, as they should expect good quality. And that was something that I couldn't find. So I was like, you know what? I could make a career out of it. I should try to become a nail technician.
I think it's really smart with the intentions of you doing the market research to know and be aware, like the nail industry is what's lacking heavily.
Yeah.
Because you can do hair, you can do makeup, it's everywhere. There's not a huge gap.
Yeah.
But to find a really great nail tech specializing in a certain type of,
technique. Yeah.
Technique. that is very hard. So for you to do the market research and be so intentional, that was very smart. That was a very smart move.
Thank you. I saw that. I feel like people are used to like just going to regular nail salon, and they don't even know that there are different options out there.
Oh,
You know, when you get used to something, you're just in your comfort zone, and you don't even think, oh, is there something else? But yes, you can get a better quality service somewhere else. You just have to find a specific, technique that you would like, and the technician for it too.
For sure. Russian manicures and pedicures are so detailed and precise. What do you love most about this specialty?
There are a lot of things that I love about this technique. First, for me, definitely is the attention to detail. I'm very attentive to detail myself. And I love the clean results each time. I love how great retention is. I'm very much into the natural nail care and like the health of your natural nails. And I'm sure if you have tried Russian manicure at least once, you know that all of those things tick when you get Russian manicures done.
And the nails grow so fast.
Yes. Your nails get longer, healthier, better each time when you come.
That's what I've noticed. I'm like, gosh, like it's already some new growth there. I mean, it grows so fast.
Yeah.
Like within like 2.5, 3 weeks, you can already start seeing, the new growth. Yeah.
And that's actually not so fast because when we do Russian manicures, the cuticle is very like meticulously cleaned.
Right.
And then the color is applied all the way up to the cuticle so that there is no gap in there. It's almost like the color starts growing
out
from
of
the cuticle.
Right.
Yeah, under it. So that's what another great thing about Russian manicure, because you can go in between appointments a little bit longer than with a traditional gel manicure or like acrylic. You go in every 2 weeks, but Russian manicures you can get done every 3 to 4 weeks. So just once a month, basically.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I think I see you like once a month. I think I've seen you actually after 5 weeks. Yeah, for sure.
How did you hear about it?
You actually just hashtagging,
really,
like nail techs and like Austin nail techs, Austin nails. Yeah, and then I saw your your bio on Instagram was like Russian manicures and pedicures. I'm like, what is that? All I seen was like the nails just look great.
Yeah,
and I was like, whoa, like they like flush down.
So you didn't know it's a thing?
I didn't know it was. I kind of maybe vaguely heard about it, but I didn't really pay attention to it. And even still, like I had to learn a lot through you, just following you and seeing what you do, and also just doing my own research. Like, what is this specialty, and what I could visually see it was way different from a traditional, just visually you could see
the difference is huge.
Yeah. So visually I was already sold. Like I could see why this is called, it's like a technique, a certain specialty, and it's not just like going to the nail salon and getting your nails done.
Cool.
But I never looked up the background of it, know? So, but visually you can tell, like it's very different.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you learned about it through me, because
I did.
It's a huge trend on social media, Russian manicure. I think that's where it all started. Named Russian manicure. And usually people like learn about it somewhere on TikTok or Instagram, and then they search for the technician in their cities.
No,
but in your case it was different.
Yeah, I was just hashtagging nail techs and Austin nail techs, and then boom, there you were.
I love that.
Yeah, and of course on Instagram, hashtagging on Instagram, and I was like, oh, Russian manicure and pedicures, and I'm like, well, I can visually see it's a difference, but I don't really know exactly what it is. I was just sold from the visual presentation, if I'm being honest. And then later, I wanted to know more about it, and then that's when I started like intentionally doing research. Like, what is this?
Cool.
Yeah. Before learning the Russian style, had you done nails traditionally?
I learned how to do it in a beauty school, but I've never offered it as a service.
Okay.
Yeah, I just kickstarted specializing in this technique.
Yeah.
as I said, I saw potential in there, and I
Yeah.
still see it. I think it's in a very baby stages of
is.
gaining its popularity. It's just gonna get bigger from here.
Yeah. And with you also mentioning that your personality, like you're really meticulous, this is definitely your route.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
For sure. So we're going to talk about some challenges that you probably had to overcome. Like during COVID, it was a challenging time for a lot of us, for so many people. And your experience was unique with having to return back to Kazakhstan. How did it feel to move back during such an uncertain period?
I think at first I felt like almost defeated.
Right.
Because I moved to the States end of 2019, like October. I think it was September, October. And then just 5 months after COVID hits. And, New York was like the epicenter of all that COVID madness. I don't know if you remember when they brought like this huge boats where they would set up hospitals. And there was so many outbreaks, and New York was just crazy during that time. And I was like, crazy. Oh my gosh, I'm a newbie immigrant, just like, what's going on? It was
global crisis going on. I'm like, just trying to move here.
I just tried to move here, and all of this happens. And at first I felt like anxious, defeated. I was like, what's going on? And then, made a decision to go back to Kazakhstan just to wait out and see what's going to happen. And even getting back to Kazakhstan was like a whole journey because there were no flights. And I had to reach out to the embassy, and they like organized a special, how is it called? Like a repatriation flight or something like that, where basically they like evacuate you from one place to the other. So it was like a whole thing, crazy journey to go back home. But now, like 4 years later, I realized that it was the right decision at the time.
For sure.
Because it was such uncertain time, as you said, and I was really happy to be close to my family. It gave me like peace of mind. And then I could really like step back and see, what should I do next? That's when I enrolled into beauty school while I was stuck home. I was like, let me start learning this, just not wasting my time, and start doing something. So that's when I started learning to do how to do nails and, researching for a new place to move. And then by like September, I think that was September 2020, basically 5 months after I returned back to Kazakhstan, I flew to Austin.
Okay. What helped you stay hopeful while figuring out your next steps?
My support system, my family, my friends. Yeah, definitely. Very grateful to have them in my life. They always support me no matter what I decide to do. I'm sure for my mom it was hard, letting her child go so far away and change her career. But I think for some reason I'm getting emotional.
Good. Like, just let it out.
Yeah.
It was a hard time. There was some hard decisions that you had to make. Just reliving and telling your story. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was hard for her, but she supported me.
Good. Yeah. I'm sure it was. And also, going...
A sip of water.
I've gotten emotional on the podcast. It's okay. It's normal. Just that was a very uncertain time for a lot of us. You had a big dream, and then you went to chase that dream. And then in 2019, the next year, it was COVID. You have to go back, reset, which was I think it was a great decision too. To have that emotional support from your family too.
Yeah.
That's always, I feel like, the most important whenever you're making big life changes.
For sure.
That support just helps you keep pushing, And then to do it all over again, like I already left, and that was hard, and then I gotta do it again,
Yeah.
and hopefully things do work out the
This
way.
time.
Yeah. So of course you're gonna get emotional, and then you're doing so well too. So it's like thinking about being in those times back then, uncertain
For sure.
about
It
what
was so scary.
Yeah, and then now you're like here doing so great. I'm sure you're overwhelmed with happiness and also,
Yeah,
the
for sure.
experience back then.
Yeah.
So it's extremely valid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Building a clientele in a new country isn't easy. What helped you stand out and attract loyal clients?
Yeah, you're right. It's not easy. I think for me to have like a quality start here, it was beneficial for me knowing English before I moved. So when I was growing up, my mom would always send me to like ESL classes. And she was like really pushing me to learn English. That was always like number one priority. And when I moved here, I thought, oh, my English is so great. But no, like first of all, in Kazakhstan, we learn British English.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yes.
I would have never thought
All
that.
the books, everything, all the materials you learn, it's all British English.
Oh my
So when I moved here, I was like, okay, this is English, but it's different English.
For sure.
So it took me a little bit to readjust. And still, I don't think I'm like 100% fluent, but I try.
Yeah, you do well.
Thank
Very
you.
well, yeah.
Thank you. I think knowing English like really helped me from the get-go. Plus, when it comes to like building, relationship with clients, I think they just saw that I'm very passionate about this career, that I'm dedicated to it and stay like professional.
Yes.
They saw all of that. Plus, I always try to like listen to what they have to say. I think if you're a service provider and you're working like one-on-one with a client, it's important to just listen.
It is.
Because clients have always something to say. And you can get like hints of what they like about the color, the shape, I don't know, their previous experiences, what they liked, what they disliked. If you really listen to it and try to cater to their needs, they will be loyal 100%.
Absolutely.
They will stay with you forever. I have clients who have been with me from day one, basically. So I've been doing this for like 4 years now.
Yeah.
And they've been with me for 4 years, which is crazy. Because in these last 4 years, like I grew so much. And my business grew so much. And they're still with me, which I'm so grateful for.
It's the consistency, too, of how you're running your business. The consistency, and also as you're growing, you're elevating, and they're witnessing it. And so they believe in you.
Yeah.
And they want to support, it's like they want to help you on your journey, too.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm getting quality service, and I see her really passionate, like you said, dedicated to this line of work.
Yeah.
That's how they, like you said, listening. That's a big one that a lot of us in the beauty industry, we miss, and that's how they veer off and they go somewhere else because, they're there to be heard mostly,
Yes.
And when you can tune in and listen to whatever it is that they have to say, and they don't even have to say it exactly.
Yeah.
It's just little things that they say, you be like, okay, I know not to do that,
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, like you're checking all of the check boxes for them and, whatever it is that they're looking for in a nail tech, And I think it's so beautiful when they can witness the growth and you keep growing,
Yeah.
And it makes them want to stay. And they want to be a part of it too.
Yeah.
They do.
You're right. That's exciting to see it.
They see you believe in yourself, and so automatically they just believe in you too,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. I've never thought about it from that perspective.
That's what I see in you for sure. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they see it as well, and I'm in the beauty industry. And so I can view it from a different perspective than clients. So, and I can see it in that way as a professional, you know. So, yeah. Before opening your own business, you worked at a nail salon in Austin, Texas. How was the transition going from employee to entrepreneurship?
It was hard. Not gonna lie. It was really hard. I've never had experience of running my own business before, and no one in my family did it either. So I had to like teach myself, educate myself, everything. Um, now when I think about it, I think I just jumped into it.
Yeah.
I was young, ambitious, and hungry.
Yeah, for sure. And that will get you there. It will. That's like the foundation for a lot of first generational entrepreneurs. It's like
Yeah.
just hungry,
Yeah.
and excited too, for sure.
I feel like, I'm about to turn 30 in January. And I feel like, have I been in my 30s? Maybe I have not been as like courageous, brave. I would have like probably thought about it a million times and stuff like that. But at the time, I was just like, I need to do this. I
Yeah.
feel like I can do this. Also, I was working in a Russian-speaking nail salon.
Oh, wow. Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I still like love all my colleagues and my ex-boss. Till this day, we keep in very close touch.
Good.
But at the time, I felt like I'm stuck in a bubble. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I'm too comfortable, too cushy.
Yeah.
Like everyone around me spoke the same language that I used to speak back when I was living home. It was just feeling too comfortable.
You need to be
I felt
challenged.
like I'm not growing in that bubble. So I was like, I need to get myself out of there and start something on my own. But as I said, it was hard because there are just so many more things to running just doing nails, right? It's not just doing nails.
No.
There's just so much more, like taxes, licenses, being compliant with all the latest rules. I don't know, rent, marketing,
Yep.
client communication, the list goes and on and on and on. And yeah.
Logos, business name,
Yep. Yeah.
It's a lot that goes into it.
It's a lot into it. And I made a lot of mistakes along the way from which I learned. But it still is a learning process till this day.
I think it always will be because it's always evolving. The beauty industry is always evolving.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is going to evolve. When it comes to marketing, there's going to be new ways to market. You might even brand later differently.
Yeah, for sure. But that's what makes it fun, though.
Yeah, it is. Like, also just seeing the growth. You go back and see like, oh, that's how I used to do it. And you can see your journey, how you've evolved and how you've grown. It's always so rewarding to witness, Yeah.
Definitely.
How do you balance the creative side of doing nails with the responsibilities of running a
Oh my
business?
gosh. It's a hard one. It's so hard to balance it. I think when I was just starting out, especially when I just started renting my own suite and working on my own, I had a lot more free time to be creative.
Okay.
I would do my own nails, or I would take in models to like practice different techniques or designs that I would like. But now, I'm fully booked almost all of the time.
So hard to get in.
I'm not bragging here, but
No.
yeah, it is what it is. I'm very busy. I have an employee now who's working with me part-time, and so I'm responsible for her books and her clients and communication and all of that. And now definitely I feel like I have less and less time to be creative.
Yeah.
So what I started doing lately is, I know it sounds super boring, but just scheduling time to be creative.
Yeah.
Because there's no other way.
And it may be boring, but it's official.
It's sufficient.
A lot of boring things are very legit.
Yeah.
It's just not fun,
So I was like, when I see that I have like, say, for example, a 2-hour gap on my schedule, and I'm like, okay, there is some techniques that I wanted to try, or I invite in a model to practice a certain thing. Yeah, because I don't think there is any other way. When it comes to doing clients' nails and being creative, what I try to do, if I know that they want any kind of like intricate art,
Yes.
I try to discuss with them beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have these clients who always want like crazy intricate art on their nails, and I try to ask for their inspo pictures beforehand.
Yes.
So that I make sure that I have all the right supplies, tools. I know how to do it, so I'm not like, improvising on the moment at the moment.
It helps to, once the clients become, residual, you get to know their personality. And so, like you said, it's like, I know this client. I know she always gets something intricate. Let me reach out.
Yeah.
Even allot the time, too, intentionally on the schedule, just in case someone books. Oh, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about your work? Does it ever, like, clients, do they ever ask for something that you've never done before? Like, I don't know, any kind of hairstyle?
Yeah, they've asked for some things I've never done before. I let them know. It's a disclaimer. I'm like, I've never done it before.
Yeah.
And if I have the time, I'll do it. But not a lot. It doesn't happen a lot. But first time appointments, I usually don't have room for it, especially if I have someone come in right after them. So I'll just say, like, unfortunately, at this time, I don't have enough time to do that. This is what we can do.
Yeah.
If you're okay with that, we can proceed with that. But the next time, I'll make sure to allot enough time, being that I know that you like to do things outside of what's on the menu.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to allot more time for you next time. And it usually works, And then they become those same clients that request these different things. And so, and I just automatically go in and I'm like, let me
add a little bit more
time.
a
little bit more time, yeah. And it don't happen that often. Usually with being that I do a lot of hair care, they're more worried about hair care. And I think brides are usually the ones where I get to experience and do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But I'm always prepared for them. I have had brides to change the hairstyle at the last minute, and you just go with it. It's the wedding day. You just go with it. You make it happen. It creates a lot of anxiety. I'm not going to lie, but that's when I don't allot time to talk either. I just do work. Usually I'm asking, like, how has everything been? When they do that to me, I just work. I need full concentration to make sure I really execute that hairstyle.
Yeah.
So I don't get it a lot behind the chair, but every now and again, a bride will switch it up on me. I just make it work, on a wedding day, But behind the chair, I do try to ask them to give me a little bit more flexibility because I'm not prepared. Yeah.
So it's just all about communication, clear communication.
And they understand. Like, I have never had a client to be like upset. And they understand, like, I know this is a last minute request.
Yeah.
And I do feel like the way how you market, you will bring in those clients that do have room for understanding.
Yeah.
Marketing strategically when it comes to personalities is a whole thing too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So you tend to find those clients who get it. Yeah.
That's true.
Many people believe that taking a break. Actually, I'm sorry, let me back up. Some people online, like dermatologists and cosmetologists, criticize Russian manicures, saying they're harmful or illegal. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I was telling you during our last appointment, there's a lot of stigma about Russian manicures and pedicures. I think a lot of it comes from just lack of education.
Yeah.
And generally, if you remember, like any new beauty service on the market usually gets so much hate. The easiest I could remember is the laser hair removal. Remember?
Oh, yeah,
when it just came out?
It did, yeah.
Everyone was like, oh my gosh, you're going to get cancer.
Yep.
Yeah.
It sure did.
Or like those UV lamps, for example, the ones that you use for gel manicures. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, that exposure, you're going to get cancer. Yeah. But when you start educating yourself about the technique, there is, I like strongly disagree, let's say, with all the claims that Russian manicures and pedicures are harmful, illegal, too invasive, people say.
Right.
I disagree with that because I think if you know the right technique, And don't get me wrong, it's an advanced technique. I don't think anyone straight out of beauty school can start doing this technique. I think you need to really get special training for it, a certification. You need to practice a lot. You need to know nail anatomy because all of that is connected.
Right.
And it's really important to know where's the dead tissue that you can cut and where's the living tissue where you shouldn't go too deep into. But it's a lot of the times, if people had bad experience with Russian manicures, I think it's not about the technique. It's about the technician.
After doing my own research, that's what I gathered. I was like, I think it's more of a technician, just not being educated on how to really specialize or, perform this technique. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as I said, it's an advanced technique and, some places they see that it's a trendy service and they just advertise, oh yeah, we do Russian manicures, no big deal. It's easy.
Oh, it's a big deal.
Yeah. And then people go there, they have bad experience and they say, oh, they cut me too deep or they nipped me or, something went wrong. But I think you really need to do your research before you go to a new place. And that's what I always try to educate my clients because I say, even if you go somewhere else, I'm not against it at all.
Yes.
I just want you to know what to look out for.
Right. Absolutely. Because it can be pretty bad because, just from what I've saw online, I'm like, that's definitely like it looked like a mishap with the technique.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything else.
Yeah.
Another
thing I think where a lot of controversy comes from is different terminology. So in Russian-speaking countries, we call it cuticle, and here everyone else calls it cuticle too.
Right.
That dead tissue that we trim after cleaning it. But here in States, according to like cosmetology books, those Milady books, remember?
Yeah, Milady, yes.
Yeah. They call it eponychium.
Eponychium.
So that's two different terms. And eponychium is part of the skin, which is around the nails. So just because it's, and the cuticle is the dead skin, which is underneath the eponychium. I'm sorry, I don't want to go like too deep into it.
Go deep.
But what I'm just trying to say is because of different terminology used in different countries, dermatologists here, they say, oh no, you're not supposed to cut the eponychium. Yes, no one's cutting living tissue. We're only cutting the dead skin.
And if it was living, it would hurt.
It would hurt.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when you clean the cuticle with like the nail bits, how we do in Russian manicures, that skin, it just easily lifts off of the nail plate and it's ready to be trimmed. It's nothing's going to happen. It's a dead tissue. Just like your hair, just like, I don't know what. What is other dead tissue?
Something that grows out and it's living, but it's not quote unquote living. I think hair is like the closest one that you can. Or even the nail.
It's
itself.
Also contained of like keratins.
Yeah,
and
which is a
all
good
of
protein.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's just lack of education. If you know the technique right, everything's gonna be fine.
And I've had no problems. So
yeah.
And I've been coming to you long enough to know if there's gonna be an issue, So that's why when you mention that to me, I'm like, what misconceptions are out there? This is great.
Yeah.
Many people believe that taking a break from polish allows nails to breathe. Is this a practice customers should consider, or is that even necessary?
I always joke, I say nails don't need to breathe because they don't have lungs. So corny, I know.
No, that's a good one, though. That's a really good one because they don't.
Yeah.
Like, what's breathing exactly?
It's like giving your hair to breathe. Like it's already a formed dead tissue that you cannot really affect on the grown part anyhow already. It's already grown. It's there.
Yeah.
But the question was taking a break. Yes, taking a break sometimes might be beneficial if you are, I don't know, traveling, if you know that you cannot make it to your next appointment.
Oh, yeah.
Just maybe you're just emotionally tired of nails. That happens too. But what I say is, if you're taking a break from getting any enhancement, then it should be for at least 2-3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it does make sense to get to do a full removal this month. Next month, come back again. The third month, you want to do full removal again. It does make sense.
Okay.
Why? Because when you do a full removal, it still takes off the outermost layers of your natural nail. No matter how safe, accurately, and precise the removal was done, it still takes off a little bit of your natural nail layers. And 2-3 months is enough time for a nail to go through a full regrow cycle.
Oh, okay.
From top to bottom, from like the cuticle to the tip. Just keep it short and take your break.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So now the next question I feel like has been answered, because I've said, like, I noticed in the past when I remove gel polish from my nails, they tend to be weaker. Does this have anything to do with the gel polish itself?
It doesn't have anything to do with the product. I'll tell you that. No matter what you get, is it gel, structured gel, acrylic, dip powder, there's so many products out there. It's all about removal. Removal should be safe. It should be proper, and it takes time.
Right.
And unfortunately, what I see a lot when clients come from like regular nail salons, I see this rings of fire. I don't know if you have ever seen them. So
was
it's
it like
when
they're rigid?
maybe we can put like a picture on the video. I don't know.
I'll
or
ask
something.
him, can he?
Yeah.
Is it like rings like on the nail
like
bed?
Literally, you can see dents of when the nail bit was like there was too much pressure. And in regular nail salons, the process feels very rushed.
Yes.
They're trying to get you in and out, in and out. And they put a little bit too much pressure and try to do fast, and then you get those rings of fire. And there is no way of getting rid of them unless you just wait for it to grow out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So a lot of the times it's about improper removal. In our studio, we do offer full removal, but it takes time. It's not going to be like 15 minutes and you're good to go.
Yeah, because it usually is,
Usually it takes about like 45 minutes to an hour. And even though it's like a cheaper service because you're not really getting any enhancement on, we still take our time because we don't want our clients' nails to be ruined by rushing the service. So, yeah.
Okay. That literally answered my questions.
Yeah.
What do you do to ensure your clients are safe and happy with your services?
Safety is number one priority at Moonglownails. All the tools in our studio, they go through 3-step hospital grade, I would say.
You're always sanitizing when I'm there.
Yeah, disinfection is still. My clients know they're used to autoclave running all the time.
It's running every time I come there.
Well, hopefully in the future, when I move to a bigger space, I'll have a special dedicated room for
I'm
autoclave.
completely okay with it. I mean, it shows your safety precautions to make sure you are not transferring, any bacteria or anything, amongst your clients. So no, it can run all day. I don't care.
Yeah. No, it's very important, disinfection and sterilization. It's funny that I've read, those little Texas law, like the TDLR books that they send you.
Yeah.
I've read there that using autoclave to sterilize tools in nail salons is strongly advised, but it's not required. So, for example, if they say, we understand that autoclave is an expensive investment and purchase, and if your salon cannot afford it, then it's okay. You might skip that step. And I'm like, what?
Why would you
It doesn't make
advise
any sense
at all?
It doesn't make any sense. I think if you're running like a business, it's number one thing that you should get.
It's an investment.
Don't get like extra 100 polishes. Get an autoclave.
That's right.
You know, it's important.
I can't believe that's optional.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It is optional. It's strongly advised, but it's not like required.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's some good information. Eventually, they're going to have to make that like in black and white. I can
think
see
so.
It. Mm-hmm.
I strongly believe so.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of when there is no control and no requirements, like people can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And then that's where we see like those outbreaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I would never risk it.
Yeah.
For me, as I said, it's a top priority.
That's
Safety.
good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. What's something you wish every client understood about your work or the process of a Russian manicure and pedicure?
I wish clients understood that quality takes time.
Absolutely.
It cannot be rushed, and it cannot be cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Russian manicures and pedicures, they take longer. Yes, that's true. Mm-hmm. It takes about like 1.5 to 2 hours for a service. And then when people hear that, they're like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not going to sit for 2 hours to get my nails done. But what they don't realize is that by going to like a regular nail salon every 2 weeks, wasting each time their time, gas, money, they're not saving money in the long run.
It's adding up.
It's adding up each time. Most importantly, you're wasting so much time. You think that you are saving time by going in every 2 weeks and spending, I don't know how much is it in regular salons these days, maybe like $60, $80 for a gel manicure.
Yeah.
You think that you're
depending on what
money.
you get, man. I guess with designs that kind of run you around.
Yeah.
80. Yeah.
Yes, you're spending less than an hour in a salon, but then you have to go back in 2 weeks again because the enhancement, maybe like the retention is not the greatest. I don't know. You can see the grow out already. And even though Russian manicures, it takes long, you only need to come in every 3 to 4 weeks for manicures. And then for pedicures, it's every 4 to 5 weeks, depending on how fast your toes grow. But 4 to 5 weeks is a sweet spot.
Yeah.
So I wish clients understood that. And that's where higher price point comes from too. Because it's a longer service. It requires special equipment. Tools, so it just cannot simply be cheap.
No, it can't. And also, like you said, if you do the math and you're going to them every 2, you've already paid for your Russian manicure.
Exactly.
Probably a little bit more when you start considering gas and time, like you mentioned. So you might as well, I'd rather go once a month than to be coming every 2 weeks. Everyone's too busy.
Everyone's busy.
And also get the quality that I'm seeking as well.
Yep.
Versus, I really like how I can look at my nails and they're like flush against my cuticles. You used to see that on Pinterest.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, I can go get that done now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That's what a lot of clients call it, actually, Pinterest nails.
Yeah, because you be like, how do they do that? That's photoshopped. Like that. There's no way that's a real, thing.
Yeah. No magic, just the right technique.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure. Many people underestimate how profitable a career as a nail tech can be. How has your career as a nail technician allowed you to support yourself and build a business?
I'm just so grateful for everything I have in my life. I moved to this country, 4 or 5 years ago. I think I had like maybe $2,000-$3,000 in my pocket when I just moved. Didn't have much. But now, I'm proud to say that this job, this career, is fully supporting me, my lifestyle. I'm supporting my family back in Kazakhstan.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It's given me a lot. And I will be forever grateful to all clients who, supported my business consistently, or even it was once. I will be very grateful to my friends. Here, my friends became like a second family to me. yeah, and I'm just very, very, very lucky to call them my friends, and it's like my chosen family here.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Doing nails is such an intimate experience. You're working closely with your clients. How do you connect with them and make them feel cared for?
As I said, I try to listen. If it's a first-time client, I just ask, I don't know, easy questions just to make them feel relaxed. Like, I don't know, is it your first time getting a Russian manicure?
Yeah, those are some of the questions you asked me. I was gonna say, getting to know me a little bit more about my nail history and stuff.
Yeah, I try to ask just questions, and then clients usually they have a lot to say. Or if I see that the client is not very talkative and they just like want, a quiet appointment, that's totally cool with me too, because I could use a break too.
I know, because it's like, you got another client coming in, there's another client. Yeah, it's like reading a room. And I do it too. I can tell, like, you can tell if a client wants to talk, right?
I feel like as service providers, we almost mirror our clients. Whatever they say, we're like, yes. That's how, like, we have so many different personalities when we're at work.
Yeah, we do have a lot of personalities.
We have to vibe with each one.
Yeah, it's like acting.
Yeah.
It's like acting. And it can take a lot out of
It takes a lot of energy for sure. And it's important to like fill your cup at the end of the day when you go home and just like do stuff that is good for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, because it's like you've been pouring all day long. We pour more than just our technique into these clients, We do a lot for them beyond the surface of what they're coming there for. So, it's important to go home, wind down, and like you said, fill your cup back up so you can be energized and ready for the next day as well,
For sure.
What advice would you give to someone trying to turn their passion into a career, especially in a creative field?
Let me think about it.
And take your time.
Yeah. I think I would say just start small. You don't have to become popular all of a sudden immediately. It's not how it works.
For sure. No.
Just start small, start doing something every day, and then just keep doing it until you find that this creative, hobby or whatever you want to call it, a profession, is something that you would like to do 100% of the time, and it's supporting you and your family.
Yeah.
So start small, dream big, don't stop ever believing in yourself, and just take it slow. Just don't rush. That's what I would say.
I feel like in these creative fields, you can easily get distracted too. Especially with social media. There's so many ways to get distracted.
For sure.
One thing I'm learning is to stay focused.
Yes.
Like, whatever you're doing, like, just stay on that. Because in the beauty industry, there's so many avenues, so many different things you can tap into and become creative doing.
Yeah.
And it is so hard to not get distracted.
For sure. For sure. I think sometimes it's, for example, there are days when I don't look up anything nail related for days. And I'm like, when I'm feeling that I'm just about to get burned out or something, I think it's important to just be bored.
Good.
Yes.
That's some good advice.
A lot of people are like scared of being bored. But sometimes it's good for you.
I love being bored.
Being bored is great.
I love being bored with nothing to do.
Yes. And that's when you really get creative, because you are like, longing for that. You want to do something cool. And just step back.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that being bored. I'm glad you brought that, to the listeners, because I don't think enough people really understand how that is a luxury. Being bored is a luxury.
Yeah.
And it's okay, because like you said, it allows you to have time to reset, readjust, recharge. And, you get more creative.
Yeah.
If you're constantly just always doing something, you're going to lose some of that creative juice, or the quality can go down.
For sure. And I see why people like want to just go and post and be 24/7 on social media, because I mean, it's like how do we call it in Russian? Successful success is being thrown at your face every single day, right?
Yeah.
And you get discouraged. You're like, oh my gosh, while I'm just chilling here, someone else is becoming so much more successful, so much more, you know, I don't know, whatever, bigger than me. But what you don't see is that what's happening behind the scenes. Maybe this person has been doing it for 5 years, 10 years, and they're only showing you this beautiful, successful side, where in reality they were like tears and sweat, and it was hard for them too.
Absolutely. Yeah. You only see the success. You don't see the ugly.
We don't see the ugly.
No, you don't. And
I wish we did, though.
Ugly. Yeah, no, because I feel like you allow yourself to have more grace. You'll be more kind to yourself instead of like feeling like incompetent because you're not showing up enough, like, oh, I'm lazy, because they're already doing something. And the reason why they are doing great things is because they're doing it every day. And that's not the case. We only see a very small portion of the journey of their success. If they want to be vulnerable enough to share, which would be great, but they don't. So
maybe we should.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, talk about how that's what the podcast is for too. Like talking about the nitty gritty so people can stay hopeful.
Yeah.
And understand this is a journey. It's not a sprint. Like you have to really take your time, For sure.
I love that.
Looking back on your journey, what is one thing you tell your younger self when she was just starting out? I love this question.
I love this question too. I would say believe in yourself. Don't rush. Don't rush. And just enjoy the process. Yeah, that's what
Celebrate the process. It can get discouraging, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like really enjoying it and living in the moment. I know it sounds so cliche, but it really is what life is about. Just being present in the moment and enjoying whatever you have done so far. And looking back, like I'm so grateful to my younger self that I took that leap and decided to do what I did. And that gives me hope that I'll be okay in the future.
Oh, yeah, you definitely will. Because you did it all by yourself.
Yes, I didn't have any support system here.
Yeah.
No family. I mean, I have my friends, but still, like,
but
it was
initially,
hard.
That's hard, So I'm like, if you can do, that's the biggest step to me. Like you've already done it, and you've done it twice. You didn't do it one time, you did it 2 times. I think that's your biggest step. And then everything else, of course, is going to be like some, little obstacles in the way. But I think with you getting the hardest part out, I don't think it's nothing that could defeat you after that. It's like, this is one thing that I'm probably going through right now, but I know I'm going to be able to get through it because I've done it during the pandemic. It was a lot going on for you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, everything else, it may feel like a burden in the moment, but you are going to be great because you did a lot to build your business to get to where you are today.
Thank you.
And I feel like anything else after that would be like another thing, but we'll get through it, Yeah. For sure. What's next for you and your salon?
Well, right now, Moonglownails is a team of 2. Hopefully, we're going to grow into a bigger space. That's my priority for next year. I'm looking into expanding. And hopefully, I will find more people who would join us.
Yeah.
Someone who is just as passionate about nails as we are. So that's my plan for as of now. And what else? I started teaching not so long ago, like one-on-one private courses to people who want to learn the technique. It's a 2-day private course. So I would love to do more of that. In the past year, I've done like about 4 students, I think. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that was very exciting. And actually, my employee, Vitalia, she was the first person who reached out and was like, I love your work. Can you teach me how to do it?
So that sparked the interest with Vitalia.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, you know what? I've never tried it before. But as we learned, I love getting out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, for sure.
And I was like, you know what? Let me try to do it. And I did it once. Like, I came up with the program. I was like, can you wait 2-3 months before I come up with the program and everything? Because I really wanted it to be, not perfect, but like good
Like
to
a good
even to start with.
Yeah.
Yes. And then after I posted about it on social media, people started reaching out and saying, oh, we didn't know that you offer courses. Like, we're interested. So I started getting a lot more interest in that.
Yeah.
So I would love to do it more in the future too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially with it being a growing field, you could be like the person everyone reaches out to because you've been doing it the longest. You'd be more of like a veteran in the field. So you're more trusted.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Especially with it being, like I said, being so new, you know? And we know with years of experience that's already enough trust, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
So if you are a nail technician,
yeah, no, for sure.
I'm just going to advertise this really quick.
Yeah.
Not even advertise. I really want to say that if you're a nail technician and you're still not offering this service, I think you really should. Because it's going to get big. I have a feeling it's going to get huge. And it's going to become like a new norm. That's what I hope for. I want it to become a norm so that people are used to a good quality service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would they go about reaching out to you if they wanted to book classes with you?
My Instagram or my TikTok account, it's Aiko_Moonglownails.
Okay. And what about booking services with you as well?
Same. You can go to the studio account, which is Moonglownails ATX, or to my personal Instagram, and there would be links. We're also pretty much everywhere. Google Maps, you can go through website and book over there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it anything else you want to share with the listeners before we close out?
I don't know. I feel like I'm nervous.
Yeah, for sure. It's okay. Yeah.
What I want to say is just believe in yourself. Just bet on yourself. Don't be scared. If something would go wrong, you can always put yourself back up and continue learning and just continue your journey.
Yeah. Like, we got to embrace the going wrong, the making the mistakes.
It's okay.
It's where you learn the most and you grow the most too if you take advantage of it, you know?
For sure.
Yeah. So
it's not going to be like a linear process. It's just going to be ups and downs, and it's okay. And I know it can be very scary, but you just got to bet in yourself.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you doing this for me. You're the first nail tech we had on the show.
Yeah.
So I was so excited when I extended the invitation. You was like, yeah, for sure. I was like, yes, finally. Because I've had makeup artists, I've had barbers, of course, hairstylists. So I'm like, now I get to talk to a nail tech.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to make it open for one in the beauty industry and not just cater to hair, you know. So I appreciate you sharing with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. And if you ever want to do it again, we can go more extensively into like nails, nail care, what to look out for when you go into a nail salon.
Oh, that would be good because with this one, it's like trying to get to know you and then
I feel like this was more about me
and try to add
That's why I'm
some
like
things
a little
though. Yeah. But also add in some nail stuff too. So the next one can definitely be dived deep into just the nail industry.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Because there is a lot to talk about nail industry. And I feel like we can do it again sometime.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. That's it for today's episode of Hear What I'm Saying. Aiko's story reminds us that life's challenges can often lead us to discover our greatest strengths. From learning a new skill during a global pandemic to building her own business, Aiko has shown us what it means to bet on yourself and embrace reinvention. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It really helps the podcast grow. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, every journey comes with its own challenges, but it's how you rise above them that defines your story. Stay focused, stay inspired, and never stop believing in the power of your dreams. Until next time.